Welcome back to another Outdoor Philosophy, and my apologies for being late. I tried to record this video multiple times, but several fails, and hopefully we'll actually get it this time. But I want to take a little bit of time today and just kind of expand on one of the topics we were talking about on the Thursday on the supporter stream on the other channel with Vince, where he's talking about how our strength sometimes comes from the bad things we had happen in our lives. And we're starting to see this whole group of people that it's like if any conflict at all ever showed up in their life, it's a wonder if they would actually survive. And if you want to see the end result of any of this, and my apologies, there's like a stream over here and there's so many mosquitoes, I'm going to be swatting a bunch of bugs away. But if you really want to see the end result of a lot of this, have a look at the Democratic Socialist Party footage. Here's just a couple of the highlights.
We are going to need a party that will organize working people to fight for the demands that we want and to win socialism. Thank you so much.
Great.
Quick point of privilege. Quick point of personal privilege.
Yes.
Guys, first of all, James Jackson, Sacramento, he, him. I just want to say, can we please keep the chatter to a minimum? I'm one of the people who's very, very prone to sensory overload. There's a lot of whispering and chatter going on. It's making it very difficult for me to focus. Please, can we just, I know we're all fresh and ready to go, but can we please just keep the chatter to a minimum? It's affecting my ability to focus. Thank you.
Thank you, comrade. Okay, is there a speaker against name, chapter, pronoun?
Point of personal privilege.
Yes.
Please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
We have a lot of disabled comrades, and a lot of those are invisible disabilities. So it's up to us to modify that space to make sure that everybody is able to move in the ways that they need to move. First of all, in this room, I see that no one's clapping for me. It could be because I'm not engaging, but it also is because everyone's doing this. And that's really important, because those loud bursts of noise, even though this is a noisy space, when we can do something like reducing that, that's really important. So please don't clap, shoot up these. And additionally with the noise issue, like avoid hissing, avoid waving banners, right? If you don't know what to do, show up these, right? I'm sure there's lots of ways that we can communicate to each other without needing to rely on something that's going to hurt somebody else. We have quiet rooms that are available. There's a range of options of these, right? On 7, there's one that has video but no sound, if you still want to be able to observe the convention, but the sound is an issue. There's also on Piedmont 8, a completely quiet room. One thing to note there, please don't go into that space with anything that's like an aggressive scent, for instance, right? Because that's going to be difficult for people.
Hi, I'm Andy P. From Los Angeles, they, them pronouns. Could I please ask the chair to, there was a previous point of privilege about waving around signs, that it is distracting to other comrades. I have autism. This is distracting to me. I would like to ask our fellow delegates, please, to not wave around your signs, especially during voting. Thank you.
Yes. Please do not wave around your signs. Thank you.
All right, so you have to interrupt the meeting every few minutes. Point of personal privilege. You gotta stop talking and fidgeting around. It triggers me. I'm having a hard time understanding. You know, guys, sometimes life is full of distractions, and sometimes life that gets crazy is full of even more distractions. And I remember when I was in grad school, I wanted to hone in and learn how to concentrate better. So what I actually did is I took books to a bar, and I'd sit there in a bar and read. And I did this to teach myself how to better focus and concentrate amongst chaos going on all around me. And it worked. I learned how to focus a lot through some trying and difficult circumstances and situations. And that's kind of an important thing to think about as we are navigating our life, because one of the things that Vince had mentioned is, you know, growing up, and you know, he said growing up he was teased, and I was as well, and I completely understand the situation there. When you grow up in that type of circumstance, now being teased is really nothing, but sometimes when you grow up in bad circumstances, like we were poor growing up, and you know, I never have a father growing up, and you know, the rest of my family life wasn't particularly good either. And I could look back at that and I could just go, oh, poor me and life sucks and blame, blame, blame and victim and victim and victim. But there comes a point in time when you got to stop and say, no, I'm not the victim. Bad things happen in life, and we have to step up and walk forward. We can't just sit down and allow our life circumstances come by. There's this horse fly back here that keeps on trying to take a bite out of my arm. It's exciting. Anyway, so as we are navigating through, we have to stop and recognize difficult things will occur. Now, this current generation here who is coming up and being so triggered on every little thing, we start talking about this Snowflake generation. Of course, the original term snowflake meant it was a person who was unique individuals and everybody is special. The problem is that a snowflake is also highly fragile. And when you have a person who's so highly fragile that you cannot even navigate through the difficulties of life without crying and running away and begging to somebody else and going, I'm triggered, I'm triggered. No, learn to walk through it. So Vince had actually a good analogy, and so he used this point of talking about you go to a party, right? And you're there at this party and there's a bunch of people there that have completely different viewpoints than you have. Right? So these people will be here and they're talking about something completely different. So if I'm hearing this, I actually have a few options. I think I have 4 options, right? I could approach them and say, you know, I kind of disagree and engage in conversation. Or I could sit within earshot, listen, and go seething inside, which will do nothing except make me dislike these people, which isn't a good thing to do. The third thing I can do is I can simply walk away. I'm like, you know what? Not really interested in that. So let's go ahead and just walk away. That's certainly an option. But the fourth option, and this is the way that these guys are trying to constantly do, they want to go and call security and tell security, get these people out. They're triggering me. They're offending me. They're hurting my feelings by having a different opinion than I do. And that's a crazy thing. But that's the world we've gotten to. We are in a world now where we cannot sit down and assert differing viewpoints with certain people. They want to ban us. They want to block us. They want to deplatform us. They want to close our social media so we can't even talk. They will not have a discourse. They will not have a conversation. This is why it's imperative that we stand up and start taking a stand, because they will not stop. This viewpoint will not stop. We have to stand up and say, you know what? No, we need to have a dialogue. We need to have a discussion. We can walk away completely disagreeing. Now, I'm a person, I can sit down and I might go over to that group of people and I might sit down and go, you know, I kind of disagree, and throw some points in and have a real and honest dialogue. And that's something that I might do, depending on my mood or my attitude. I might just walk away. I probably wouldn't sit down within earshot and seethe inside, but the last thing I would possibly do is go and call security and say, there's a bunch of people here with hate. Get them out of here. You know, people keep on talking about the Gab and the dissenter and all these things and hate. And I ask every one of them. I have an account on Gab and I don't spend a lot of time over there. I haven't seen this hate you keep talking about. And I keep on telling people, go, please find me examples and send them to me. Find me examples. I want to see them. Because these platforms aren't full of hate. Hate is not a different opinion than you. That's not hate. A differing opinion means one of us or both of us misunderstand something. Both of us can't be completely right. Both of us could be completely wrong. But unless we are allowed to have an open and discussion and dialogue and debate about it, no one's ever going to know. And that's what we need, is we need to have more open discussions and debates about all of these different types of issues. But the fact of the matter is, the generation of people that are growing up that are so against any differing viewpoints, they got to do this instead of clap. Like, clapping is somehow offensive. You know, that's insane. This is a group of people who have never had to experience a difficulty. How are they going to cope when their friend or their brother dies? How are they going to navigate life when they realize life isn't fair and that the college semester and the college life is not a depiction of reality. What are they going to do? Well, they're going to cry and whine and mope and complain. And that's not right. We need to get on, realize that life is not about me, it's not about you, it's about something greater than all of that. We got to move on, we got to step on, and set all this crazy, you're all offending my personal space. That needs to go. Because life is hard, get used to it. So thanks for coming along on this outdoor philosophy. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.